are you? Nice to meet you.
A little bit of a maze.
Yeah, I heard you over there actually. I thought maybe you'd stop to see if you could find out where you were.
Yeah, I stopped to look at the phone and thought I had it figured out from my brain, but...
Very, very cool. Very nice.
I'm Geoff.
Jeff, I am Mike.
Mike, nice to meet you. This is my Uncle Jim.
Hi Jim, how are you? Nice to meet you. Very good to meet you. Thank you so much for coming over.
Yeah, thanks.
I recognise your bike, Jeff. Now
Okay.
I've seen this many times. It was at Oaks Park, just
Oaks Park in Corvallis.
Corvallis as well. Yeah, recognise the stripes.
Yeah,
very, very cool.
And that one was with us too. It was actually parked right next to it, I think,
Lovely.
both times.
Very nice indeed. I wasn't at Oaks Park. I couldn't make it, but
okay.
I saw the pictures of your bike. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, very nice indeed.
Cool.
Hey, Geoff and Jim, thank you very much for coming over. Really appreciate it. I never expected to see two Triumphs today.
It's always fun to ride with two, with a buddy instead of riding alone. So
very cool.
Beautiful morning too. The weather's cool. Wearing your coat's comfortable. No complaints today.
Very nice. Thank you so much for coming over. What can you tell us about these really cool Triumphs?
Both of them are 500s. The blue one is a 1961 TR5 AC, and the white one is a 1970 T100C. Okay. And so both bikes we built from the ground up, full restorations. I mean, this is an interpretation over here, and this was more factory restoration.
I don't know the AC designation then. What is that, Geoff?
Triumph's first endeavor, I think, into the competition model with a high pipe was this bike. 1961 was where they actually produced a C model, which is a designation they used for their off-road motorcycles.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, we look at these and would never dream of taking them off-road, but there was a time they used to beat these up pretty good. I always remember that when I'm off-road. Racing them across the desert or whatever, yeah.
They're beautiful. I love that, the blue one. Is there anything unique about that bike?
Well, the color's Kingfisher blue on this, which is, I think, a one-year color for them. Dave Wedlake did the paint on this bike over 20 years ago. In 1961, when they first started making these, this is where they made a few modifications to the frame, where they brought a tube across the middle. I believe 61, I think, was the first year for that. So again, trying to stiffen up the frame and deal with some older problems. During the year, there were actually a lot of changes, including the strap across the top here. It used to just have a rubber band, and then later models, and this is a later production model, got this 4-bolt system that's set up to stretch this chrome strip across the tank and help hold it on. So that was kind of a one-year thing. One of the things about this bike that I actually just learned the other day is that these rubber pads would be found on a Tiger Cub, and that was one of the things that they did. So with the C model, you have the smaller tank. I think some models got the high pipe and some got the low pipe. During that year, they made the TR5AR, which would be the road-going version. It had a bigger tank. This is only 2.3 gallons or something, so we stop a lot for gas. The C models would have had the high pipes. Again, that's kind of disputed, but I've seen a lot of historic photos that have the high pipe for the 61. Production run on these were pretty low. They only made a little over 600 total C models in 1961. And then the following year, even less, it was like 13 in 62, and then they adopted just the C designation, I believe, after that. Going into 63 and on, they dropped the A, I believe, out of it. But this was kind of their first attempt at a scrambler, because a lot of people were getting these things and modifying them anyways for dirt trials and stuff. And some of the international 6-day trial bikes, they usually preferred the 650s, but they ran 3 500s, I believe, in 61. Again, from my understanding too, in the brochure from 1961, they actually took a 5TA, which is a bathtub model, and then they sent it to their competition department, which is where they came up with this, basically this layout for the bike. Getting rid of all the bathtub stuff. You'll notice it doesn't have a panel on this side. There's no toolbox like there is on my 70 there. They just hadn't gotten that far, and we're eliminating things, and it would have had originally would have had just a ignition coil in it, but we've turned this into a rider, so we've put some miles on it. Restored in 2000, I want to say.
Oh, that's been some time then.
Yeah.
What was it like when you got it then? Was it complete or a basket case?
It was, I believe, kind of a roller, but in bad pretty bad shape. And then Uncle Jim, my uncle who kind of got me into all this stuff, did his first full restoration on this bike, and I believe a 65 Bonneville at the same time, and still have both those bikes. And he likes to ride them, so we modify along the way, and this one now has electronic ignition, so the distributor is kind of for looks, but it's down in there, and again, just trying to make it reliable so that we can put some miles on them.
How do you compare it then with the Bonneville? You rev them a little bit, don't you, these ones?
Oh yeah, they're buzzy. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we actually had the 65 out a couple weeks ago, and it's huge difference though on power. I mean, you're talking 150 cc's, and for this bike, this one's a bit faster than this one, but we also went 80 over on the pistons. I found 80 over pistons when we had to bore that out. That's a whole nother story on the 70 there, but yeah, so it's a buzzier ride, but it's a relaxed, doesn't beckon to be thrashed. It's a nice,
Real pleasant,
really pleasant little dawdle. We took back roads to get here and try to avoid the freeways. They'll do freeway speeds, but
yeah,
why bother?
You just set your expectations for them, don't you?
Yeah.
It's like some of the
They'll keep up though. We've been on a few rides where we've pushed them pretty hard, and then sometimes I get a little wild hair and like to go fast. So,
and they respond pretty well.
That's
to
when
that
That's when I push them and keep my fingers crossed. Yeah. I can speak way more about the this guy because this was my first restoration project. Bought this for $20. I showed up one day wearing an OVM t-shirt. Actually, it looked just like this one. I wore that other shirt out and finally was able to get a new one. I was getting on the school bus. I'm a school teacher, and for a field trip, and a wonderful guy, one of our favorite drivers, take us around on all our field trips. I got on the bus wearing my shirt, and he goes, "You got a Triumph?" And I go, "No, but my uncle's got a few." And he goes, "I got one. I want to sell it." And I'm like, "Oh, well, really? What do you got?" And he goes, "I don't know." And I go, "Well, you know what you want for it?" And he goes, "Yeah, $20. I'm like I didn't even know what it was at the time. It was just like, okay, cool. First bike. Called my uncle up, all excited. He's like, "Yeah, just go get it. We'll figure it out."
Load it on the bus.
Yeah, and so we went out and met the guy. Just a nice guy. He also had a matchless Norton hybrid bike that was pretty cool. Yeah, so this one though was in pretty sad shape. A lot of the stuff was there. It actually came with a brand new seat. That was the seat. He was collecting parts for it, but I think just he had lots of other hobbies too. We were able to pick it up. When we split the cases, water came out. So this one got the whole thing, and then the idea was to build it as a runner. 1970, the color was Jakarta Purple, I think was the name of the color, and I couldn't quite do purple. At least 15 years ago, I couldn't do purple. I think I could probably handle it now.
You could get away with it now.
But yeah, as a young kid, I also used to have 2 slash cut pipes that came out of this, so it was like.
I love what you did with the paint. I love the stripes.
Thank you.
They're very iconic British.
Yeah,
right? With
I was thinking
red, white, and blue.
I was
very
thinking,
nice.
and the truth is, most folks in America like it too.
Yeah,
but,
it's very nice
because they don't feel offended by it.
It looks stock, to be honest. It's
yeah,
funny.
I used a lot of the inspiration from Triumph, design in the '60s. They were running stripes, not 3 like that, but they were running the stripes on the top, and I don't know. I just thought it looked nicer, and the C models in general only had kind of a solid look in '70 anyways, back into the '60s as well, but solid with no scallops on the C models, and so I kind of wanted to keep that running with the paint. But it was just, I did the first paint job with a rattle can in my garage, like the exact same thing, and then one day when I finally had a real job and started being able to save some money, we had it professionally painted. But
really nice.
But the whole bike's like rattle can, and
wow.
Yeah.
And that's as far as you can go, of course. 80 over on the bore, right?
Yeah, and it's 80 over, and there's a peppy difference. You can feel it between the two for sure when you ride them. So this one's just even more laid back than this one. So
brilliant. I love it. It's a really cool bike. They're both really nice bikes. Yeah,
and again, the fun part of this is so much of it was missing that we had a lot of opportunity to kind of do it my own way. It's got aluminum fenders front and rear, where it would have had, I think, chrome fenders. So, not that we saved probably that much weight, but I was able to find an aluminum Triumph fender, which is pretty hard to find. The front is just a speed and sport, but we used the original brackets and stuff. And
And that's a good front brake as well for a bike this
Yeah.
size as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they, this one does stop a little better than this one.
Yeah.
You ride old bikes, and probably a lot of the viewers do too. You guys get it. You give yourself more time. What I rode the other day, I rode a T160 triple, and I was just amazed at how smooth the clutch was, and I didn't even hear the thing shift, and I was like, wow, like, I ride only vintage bikes, so my daily's a 73 BMW. The 500s are just really easy bikes to own. Maintenance-wise, they're Triumphs, so they do require some maintenance, but they've been a lot of fun to ride. I'll commute on them to work. Try to rotate them in. You guys, keeping a bike moving is its easiest form of maintenance, so that's been kind of helpful. They're really pleasant little bikes. I'll have no qualms building another one. We're building a +63 T100 SS. Well, we're in parts collection, but you know how that goes. So yeah, they're really nice, easy bikes to live with. Again, not the same pep as a Bonneville, but they get the same looks, for sure. Driving through town, and lots of thumbs up on the way over here. People see old Triumphs and they recognize it. So they invoke a passion from other people for sure, and it's been a lot of fun being able to build these. And again, family has been huge for me. My uncle got me into this, when I was 17, and now it's a slippery slope, and now we have a garage full of motorcycles, and we like to get together, try to get together once a week for bike, and we call it bike night. Sometimes it's me handing him wrenches, but that's okay. It's been a lot of fun. So and I think that's the point of this, is community and relationships, and really have enjoyed it. So.
Thank you so much, Geoff. That was really nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful visit. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. What a great show and great thing you're doing. And
Thank you.
Keep it up. I appreciate it. I've really enjoyed the videos, especially during lockdown, right?
Yeah, it's been my pleasure.
So,
I've loved it. I'm so glad that we can do it again this year. So thank you for coming over. It's a real pleasure to meet you and your uncle.
You too. You as well.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much for watching, guys. This has been another tale from the cul-de-sac. Please remember to subscribe and click the little bell, and you'll get a notice whenever I release a new video, usually every Sunday morning and sometimes during the week.